Are you tired of paying outrageous prices for eggs? With the cost of eggs through the roof, it seems like your simple breakfast is getting more and more expensive. But what if I told you there's a simple hack that can save you big on eggs? Hint, hint. Literally, when I was at the grocery store last week, a 5 dozen carton of eggs, which is what my family usually purchases once every 2 weeks, was $29 for 5 dozen eggs. So instead of shopping at the grocery store, let me show you where I'm shopping. So my daughter and I have been loving for breakfast lately are egg bites. She had one for the first time when we were on our Disney vacation at our hotel. She was like, "Mom, I love this. This is so good. Can you make it?" And I'm like, "Yes, I can." So it's now our go-to thing. High in protein, keeps you full. I will make these all day long as she will eat them. And I enjoy them as well. So I needed some eggs for our recipe, and instead of going to the grocery store, I am in my prepper stash. Look at all these eggs that I have. This entire thing, well, I've got 6 jars of eggs. So these eggs were packaged in November of 2021. So about 3.5 years ago. Am I doing my math right? Do you know how much my eggs cost me in 2021? We bought the 5 dozen eggs for $11. It's $29 now. This is how I save money with my freeze dryer. I don't know exactly how much egg powder I am going to need for my recipe. I'll figure that out when I get up to my kitchen, but I'm just gonna bring 2 jars to be safe. Let's head upstairs and I'll show you how I make it. My freeze-dried food is legitimately a food savings account. Whenever I find food on sale or for a bargain, I freeze dry it, stick it in the pantry in my prepper shelf for later, and then when times get tough, when prices are sky high, I go to my prepper stash and use my cheap food. It's awesome. The first thing I need to do is reconstitute my powder back into liquid egg form. These have been vacuum sealed shut, so there we go. We've got our powder here. That's what it looks like. This also is an amazing way to save your eggs if you have your own backyard chickens and you're just overwhelmed with eggs, which first of all, I am so jealous of you, if that is you. Shout out to all the chicken owners. I hope to be a chicken owner in my future, but this is the perfect thing to do with your extra eggs. The formula for reconstituting is about 2 tablespoons of egg powder and 2 tablespoons of water for 1 egg. My recipe needs 10 eggs, so I am going to be doing 20 tablespoons of egg powder, right? Right, okay, yeah, we're gonna go with that. I've already done 2, 3, 4, 19, and 20. People sometimes wonder how it smells. Just kind of smells eggy. Musty eggs. Can that be the new perfume of the month? Musty egg? No, you don't want to smell like this, but it smells like musty eggs. So my recipe is supposed to make 16 egg bites. That was about half of my jar. We're just gonna go with this. If I need to make more, I will just make more later. For the sake of today, I'm just gonna do 1 batch. For a shortcut, 20 tablespoons is the same as 1 1/4 of a cup. So I'm just gonna add that in. And I'm actually doing closer to a 1/2 cup because some of my tablespoons were a little heavy. And we're just gonna mix it together. And this is just gonna be as if I had cracked in 10 eggs right here. I'm gonna get my oven preheating before I forget. I'm just gonna turn it to 325 degrees. And get that going. This is what the egg mixture looks like. It's not as like clear as normal fresh cracked eggs look. It's a little more like thick looking, which I may need to add a touch bit more of water. I think I am going to. But besides that, this is a normal egg. You could scramble this. You can use it in baking. We're gonna use it in our egg bite. I think that's gonna do it there. Yes, I like the way that looks. And then the trick for really fluffy egg bites is to use cottage cheese. We're gonna add 2 cups of cottage cheese, and I'm actually gonna be blending this in the blender. You could just mix it by hand if you want to, but if you prefer a more smooth texture, then I would suggest putting it in your blender. Just if you don't want the cottage cheese texture in it. I don't know. The recipe says to use a blender, but you could do it by hand. I'm telling you, this really is the best recipe. If you've never made egg bites before, please tell me that you're gonna make these. They really are so good and so incredibly easy. Now, this is my first time making them with the freeze-dried eggs, but I think it's gonna be no different than fresh eggs. This is an awesome recipe to bring if you are attending like a potluck brunch or like a baby shower or something where they're doing like brunchy foods. Egg bites are always a hit. Everyone always loves them. Next, we're just gonna season it up with a little bit of black pepper, a teaspoon of salt, and just a little sprinkle of garlic powder. I know this doesn't look like the most appetizing thing in the world, but I promise you, it's gonna be good. My favorite thing to cook these in are these silicone muffin liners because they just pop out so easily. I got mine in a 2-pack from Costco. I will see if I can find similar ones from either Walmart or Amazon to link for you guys. Otherwise, go check out Costco. I think they still have them there. These are awesome. I'm gonna lightly spray them with avocado oil. It's not totally necessary, but I don't know. I just like to be safe. I'm terrified of things sticking. The fillings on these is where you can have a lot of fun. I just look in my fridge and see what I have. I found tomatoes, some ham, and cheese. They're really good to fill with sausage, with bacon. You could do ground beef, chicken, whatever your little heart desires. Think of what you like in an omelet. That's what I like to put in these. My daughter likes hers just with eggs and cheese. So I oblige, and I usually make about half her way, the way she likes it, and then the other ones I do for me. I like to put my toppings in on the bottom first, and then after I get all my toppings in the muffins how I want, I'll add the egg mixture on top. You don't want to fill them all the way to the top because these are going to expand in the oven. So I filled them about 3/4 of the way full. It looks like I ended up getting 17 egg bites. Here is how they look. I did take my little spatula and just stirred each cup around a little bit. You don't really need to, but it just helps disperse the toppings inside of it. If you want lots of cheese, you could add more shredded cheese to the top of this, which I probably would do, but I'm out of shredded cheese and I don't want to shred anymore. So we're just gonna go with what we have, but you could always add more cheese. The more cheese, the better. One thing I'm doing differently for this batch that I have not done before, but the recipe says to do, is bake them in a water bath. So I'm just putting my muffin tray onto a cookie sheet, and I am pouring some water onto the sheet to just surround the egg bites. And I think the idea is to just create more steam and a more moist environment for them to bake in. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I'm doing the same thing for my other tray over here. I tried to see if both would fit in one, and they did not. These are going into my oven at 325 degrees for about 30 minutes. I'm gonna start checking on them at around the 20 to 25 minute mark. It's really cool. You will see these puff up really big and puffy. After they lose their heat and come out of the oven, they will shrink back down, but it's really exciting to see that big puffage when it happens. So yesterday we had a really exciting visitor in the backyard. If you're new here, we live in Alaska, and Alaska is known for, you know, having wild animals around. We've had a very warm winter, like abnormally warm. Like I wouldn't be surprised if the bears are starting to come out of hibernation and are gonna be out and about. It wasn't a bear, and it wasn't a moose either. Squirrel. I have not seen a moose in months. It has been months, and that's actually been making me very sad because I enjoy seeing the wildlife here. That's one of my favorite things about Alaska, is seeing the wildlife. And like last winter, we had moose all over the neighborhood, which is not ideal for when my kids are out playing and stuff like that. I mean, safety-wise, no, it's not a great thing, but I enjoy seeing them. However, my son's teacher yesterday told me she was walking her dog with her son and got charged by a moose. Talk about your worst nightmare. They ended up being okay. They were able to get out of the path of the moose, but scary. I haven't seen any moose, and she got charged by one. We have a mountain right behind our house where every year we have sheep who come and they hang out on the mountain and just eat the grass and do whatever sheep do. And they're here for a few weeks and then they just move on with their lives. And we've seen them with little babies and they are the cutest things ever. My husband noticed a sheep out on the mountain yesterday. It's hard to get a picture of it. I got a little bit of footage on my phone, so I will show that here. The little blurry white speck is the sheep, but when you're looking at it through binoculars, you can see it moving around and it's just so cool. I mean, if it's gonna feel like spring, we're just gonna pretend it's spring and summer. So these are done. They've been in for about 40 minutes. I will say they did not puff up tall like they did the last few times I've made them. I'm wondering if that's because of the freeze-dried eggs or the water bath or a combination of the both. I don't know. We're still gonna give them a taste and just make sure they still taste good. Okay, these have had a chance to cool. I am just gonna pop it out of its little thing. It's still very moist on the bottom. I wonder if I needed to cook these a little longer. I don't know. I probably shouldn't have done the water bath method and just done my normal. Last time I baked them at 350 for like 25 minutes and they were beautiful. The taste is amazing. Okay, I take back what I said. It tastes great. Man, I meant to get one that had the tomatoes in it. This is just a cheese one. It's so good. Look at that texture. It's just like fluffy and moist. I love it. I got all my egg bites just in a Tupperware. I'm just gonna store them in the fridge, and then when we want to eat them, we just pop them in the microwave for like 30 seconds. And we got a hot, delicious breakfast. Freeze-dried eggs for the win. If you don't have a freeze dryer and are interested in purchasing one, check my link in the video description below. You can find the link to Harvest Right website where you can check out all of the freeze dryers and the deals that they have going on. The one I own is a size medium. I absolutely love it. It's perfect for my family and our needs. Thank you so much for being here. Consider subscribing if you haven't subscribed yet to see all of the fun stuff that I do with my freeze dryer. And remember, when you freeze dry today, you secure your tomorrow. Bye, friends.